Hey, welcome back to the podcast. Today I'm going to be talking about the digital product that completely changed my business. Now, if you are a coach, online business owner, info course seller, service-based business owner who needs more leads, then this episode is going to be incredible for you. I'm going to break down how the Neurolinguistic Questions Playbook actually has sold 1,800 copies. It's made close to $92,000 Australian. And it's generated on average for every $1 spent on the funnel, $1.30 on the back. So imagine if you could grow your audience profitably by using one digital product and then sign those clients that buy that product into premium programs every single month. That's tend to be what happens with my product is we get 3 to 5 buyer leads a day off about $150 in ad spend. Those 3 to 5 buyer leads, they cover the cost of the ad spend. And then every month we enroll 1 to 2 of those people into our premium programs. So that's anywhere from $2, $5, $10, $15, $25,000 every month. So imagine, if you will, that you wake up in the morning, you've got 5 leads in your business that have just brought a product. So they're high intent, right? We're not talking about freebie leads. We're talking about warm leads, and they're in your system, ready to be nurtured, ready to be ascended into your premium programs. That's the reality that we wake up to. No dancing on social media, acting like a clown on TikTok, following viral trends and hoping that your hook gets distributed to your audience. No, you have a predictable way to do it. And this is what we call the self-funded offer system. This is what I've been using for the last, I think 18 months now. This will be 18 months since we set this up. And it all started when I was sitting in a cafe in Bali in May 2024. And I remember looking at my wife going, man, I feel so burnt out with this life coaching thing. Like I was doing life coaching before sales coaching. Well, I've always done sales coaching, and I kind of decided that I better pick one. I was known for a lot of things. So I doubled down on the sales coaching, and I said, I just don't want to do life coaching anymore. I'm really tired of hearing people's problems. And she goes, well, you're really good at selling. Like, you've always been able to help people sell. So why don't you focus around that? And I said, yeah, but I don't want to do it via a personal brand. Like, I'm so having to turn every moment in my life that's supposed to be private into something for the public. And I don't want to do that anymore. I don't want to sit down and take a picture of my coffee and come up with some silly freaking headline of, I was in Bali having this coffee and then blah, blah, blah. I just don't want to do it anymore. And I think our daughter was maybe 18 months at the time. And it was pretty scary, to be honest, because it was prior to that, we'd been having a massive personal brand. I'd had a massive personal brand. I was posting all the time, and the marketing was very me, look at me, look how great I am, look at the result. And I felt really over it. And maybe you're feeling the same at the moment. Maybe you're feeling like the way to get clients just feels so counter to who you are. Like, you don't want your income, you don't want your business to be reliant on social media algorithms, because when they're good, but most of the time they're not great. You're producing this incredibly well-crafted content that has brilliant messaging, but nobody sees it. And you're kind of toiling and dancing in obscurity where you're really good at what you do, but no one really knows who you are. You're a best kept secret. And I believe this is the problem that paid advertising can sell. And it used to be that the barrier for entry to do paid advertising, to create digital products, to build funnels was really high. But one of the beautiful things that's happened in the last couple of years is AI has cut that learning curve just in half. Like, it's just completely shrunk it down to a matter of basically days. You can get a digital product in a funnel up and running in days, because image creation can now be done through GPT, copy can be done through GPT. Ads can be done through GPT. Like, it's all of these things that used to take us a really long time, email sequences, all that kind of stuff. It can all be done through GPT. And so back in May, I was like, I need to figure out how to do this. And I brought this product. It was called sellwhileyousleep.com, where it basically promised to generate leads and sell these leads while I was sleeping. And I thought, that's crazy. It's way too good to be true. That can't be the case. And I jumped into this program, and he was sharing this idea of what we call a self-liquidating offer. So a self-liquidating offer is where you sell a digital product, which could be anywhere from like $17 to $27. And the cost of that digital product covers the cost of the advertising that it took to get somebody to buy. So you're paying Facebook, say $27 to drive enough traffic so that you make a sale, and then that sale covers the cost of the advertising, and you get a lead, a buyer lead on your list that is high intent, curious about the work that you do, and ready to ascend into your other programs given enough time. And so it's called self-liquidating because the cost of the digital product covers the cost of the advertising. And there's a few phases, which I'll talk about the phases in this podcast. So this will just be the absolute breakdown, complete behind the scenes of how mine works and some of the challenges and how you can do it too. And yeah, so that's basically the philosophy, right? Is whatever you spend on advertising, you should see liquidated through your offer. So what makes a good offer? Chances are you actually have something incredible on your Google Drive at the moment. It's just sitting there. It's got dust on it. No one's really watching it or using it. You've got lead magnets you've published and they're just ready to go. And so when it comes to finding a good digital product that you can sell for your self-liquidating or self-funded offer, you want to find something that solves a burning problem for the market, right? That is genuinely valuable. Because what we're doing here is we're giving people an experience of you. We're giving them an experience of your business. And the reason why we're doing this is because consumer behavior has shifted, whereby people aren't just spending $5,000 on someone willy-nilly. They are actually looking to test you to see if you're any good. So they'll buy a cheap onboarding product that if it's high quality and they go, wow, this is crazy, then they'll likely pay you for the implementation. And this is one of the things that's changed or shifted, is that the value of information by itself is not super valuable, but the value of support and implementation has become really valuable. And so AI can't do the work for you. AI can't emotionally support you through getting this stuff done, which is why some of the best Ascension offers are around implementation, not information, right? Let me help you install this in your business. Let me do this with you. And so, yeah, so basically what these digital products allow you to do is it allow you to get leads in to experience your work, and then you can offer them support implementing the work if they want that help doing it. And so, this works in several different industries, niches. I've done this in dating, right? So we have a dating blueprint to help men with their relationships. I've done this in personal training. We've done this in hypnotherapy. We've done this in women's empowerment. Obviously, I've done this in sales. This works in practically any industry. As long as you have something valuable, you can solve a problem for your market. And so there's a few phases to it. The first phase is we need to find an offer, we need to price an offer, and we need to build your system. And I use they call it content management system, CMS. And I use one called System.io. The reason I use System.io is, number one, it's $17 to get started, which is crazy cheap. They also have a free plan, so you can build in free and then upgrade later. But it does everything you need for $17, which is kind of crazy because Go High Level is $99 a month. ClickFunnels is like $99 a month. So any Kajabi is like $120 or something. Kartra's even more than that. So like it's the lowest cost, very user-friendly platform. And so that's the first thing, right? Is you got to build your website. You got to build your landing pages. You got to build your checkouts. You got to build your course. And I've actually run a beta program called Acquisition twice now, where I just give you all of the templates, right? So you could just swipe all of my templates, install it in your System.io, and then you just fill in the blanks, copy paste. And so that's the first step, right? Is you need to find a digital product. And the second step, or build the system. The second step is crafting your headline and your unique mechanism. This is the one thing you'll spend most of your time on. Is if you think about the Neurolinguistic Questions Playbook, how my client Rick did $2.5 million in 12 months. This specific headline has a couple of things that are really important. Number one, it's a see how headline. So see how headlines are better than I did ABC. The reason for that is because when I say I did ABC, the person thinks, well, I can't do that. When I say see how my client, they think, well, his client did it, maybe I can do that too. Then the next thing is a big promise. And my promise kind of violates the rules of promises because we're looking for kind of small promises at the moment. But for some reason, seeing how my client did $2.5 million in 12 months is a promise that sticks. It's kind of a hook that just hangs in there. But typically we want to go for something smaller. And so if we think about a relationship example, it was like, how to get more intimacy and connection back without losing yourself. In the hypno, it was like how to get 2 to 3 hours a week back of high productivity time without stress and overwhelm. So they're tangible, small promises. I think it was in the personal development, in the words, Caleb, in the personal training offer that we did, it was like lose a couple of bout sizes and drop the beer belly without doing the things you don't like. And so there's a degree of tangibility. Then the next thing that we need is something called a unique mechanism. So a unique mechanism is how we differentiate your offer in a competitive market. And so the best unique mechanisms, they have curiosity and they sound kind of scientific. So, and even better if they leverage existing authority. So when I say Neurolinguistic Questions Playbook, we're leveraging off the existing authority of neurolinguistic programming, which helps position it as credible. The other part of this mechanism, unique mechanism, is we're not talking about scripts and we're not talking about questions. We're talking about something called linguistic primes. And so linguistic primes is ultimately their series of questions, but we're not going to call them questions. We're going to call them primes. And so that creates a natural curiosity. It's like, wow, so how did that client get that result? He did it with linguistic priming. That's interesting. That's different. I'll click and I'll find out about that. So that's the second part that goes into a headline is a unique mechanism. Okay. So that's the headline part, right? So we build the system, we build a headline, you choose your product. Then the second part of the process is we have to run ads. And this is where people go, oh my God, ads are so difficult. Facebook has done an incredible job at simplifying the process down to a freaking art form. And so what I mean by that is like your ads, I've done a video on this. You can see it somewhere. If you send me a message about the ads video, you can set your ads up in about 15 minutes. It's crazy how quick it is now, especially when you know where to click. And what they've done is instead of all that complicated targeting and trying to figure out where your market is inside the manager, they basically said, hey, give us really images and copywriting that tells me about your audience and I will go find them for you. And it's better now than it ever has been. Now is the best time to run ads because the system is so smart at finding your people. It used to take 50 purchases to what the old marketers used to call season your pixel, which is a pixel is a piece of data that sits on your website. The seasoning is informing the data, feeding that back to Facebook and saying, hey, these are my people. These are the ones I'm trying to sell to. These are the ones that I'm trying to click. And that data would enrich your pixel, which would inform Facebook of who to target. You don't have to do that anymore. It starts optimizing within the first 1 to 2 sales, which is crazy. Like it's a 50 times increase in effectiveness. And so now more than ever, ads are super simple, right? We just run crazy simple GPT written ads with some graphics and away you go. You start testing at $20 a day. So we do that $20 a day for about 7 days. And that'll drive enough traffic to your website for us to know whether or not your offer is validated and it's converting. And if it's validated and converting, you should starting to see it break even. In order to truly break even, we need to start adding things called bumps. So bumps are additional upsells on the checkout page to help boost the average spend that your clients are spending when they buy whatever your digital product is. So when you buy the playbook, there's 3 different bumps that you can choose from. There's a $9 bump, there's a $17 bump, and there's a $27 bump. And that's strategic because it's an impulse buy. It's like going out to the checkout and grabbing the chocolate bar on the way out. And so you can choose which chocolate bar that you want. And so what we have to do is we have to choose specific bumps that match our main offer so that on average, when customers come through this system that we've created, this website we've created, that the average spend covers the ad costs. And so that's where a little bit of the optimization comes in. There's other things that we do down the line, like post-purchase. We can do upsells, we can do communities, we can do low ticket communities, we can do consulting offers, etc. But that's phase 2. So phase 1 is all about choose the product, build the website, position it correctly. Phase 2 is about run the ads, optimize the ads, optimize for average order value. So the average spend the customer spends on your website. Then the third phase is what we call ascension. So ascension is how do we then take these clients and then these leads and how do we convert them into higher ticket programs? How do we inform them of our value and show them how they can get our help implementing it? Now, remember, the key here is that information is not super valuable, but the support and the implementation is valuable. And so what we do here is we have post-purchase sequences. So your welcome email sequence should deliver high value, high impact, that they would go, wow, I would like to know more about that. You should have things like, if you want to book calls, a video sales letter on the thank you page. So someone clicks the button, they watch a video sales letter about how we can work together, and they go and they submit that application and they go and they work with you. And so you can book calls off the back of that, right? So one of the common things that I do for clients is on the thank you page, you say, hey, watch the next video. Then we have a video sales letter. It's about 12 minutes long. It explains how you guys can work together. Then they have an application form. Then they go to a Calendly, and then they book it. So by that time, you're speaking to someone who's bought a $17 product. They've watched a 12-minute video sales letter. They've filled in an application, and they booked on your Calendly. This is about as qualified as you can get of a lead. So these leads should be layups, right? You should be able to close, at least half of these people that book in. So that's kind of the whole process in a nutshell, like the 3 phases. And this is basically what happened in my business, where we grew our audience from like 200 people on an email list with a fresh business by new about 17 months ago to 2,700. And I would say about 1,800 of those are very, very active and qualified. And so what we do is we either run monthly webinars, monthly paid workshops, challenges, little offers here and there to give these people different ways of getting support with things that they want to achieve. Then on top of that, we also layer in nurturing content. So nurturing content is like this podcast, right? You're likely to have seen this podcast because you're on the email list. And then I've written an email about it. I've linked you to the podcast, breaking down exactly how we do it, et cetera, et cetera. And then, or YouTube, right? So we publish our YouTube videos. We say, go check out the YouTube video that we just did. We just broke down these sales tactics from ABC. And so why this is powerful is because now your organic efforts actually have an audience. And this is what we would call like a hybrid model, where like you're paying for attention and then you're sending that attention to your organic content that will nurture your audience. And so over time, that just builds this relationship, which is so important when it comes to this AI implementation economy, where you're just building trust with these people. Like if you've been watching these episodes of the podcast, you're building this parasocial relationship with me, and I'm getting like your most valuable resource. You're gifting me your most valuable resource, which is time. And because these podcasts are valuable, you're probably going to sit down and watch them. And that undivided 20 minutes of attention that I get from you is like, it's really hard to come by if we don't already have that relationship. And so what you'll notice about this entire ecosystem is it will feed all your other areas. And so what you end up doing, and it's sort of advanced strategy, which is further down the line, is you would take your best content, right, and you would then boost that to your, and turn those into ads. And so like, for example, if we find that one of the reels that we created from the podcast or from the YouTube videos is performing really well, we'd then put that behind an ad at like $2 a day. And then that would build an audience for me based on people watching the reel. And then they watch the reel and then they see my ads. And so if you're then posting on Instagram, when you put your reels out, they interact with your reels, then Facebook targets them on other platforms with ads. So it just kind of feeds itself. So it's this perfect bridge between paid acquisition and organic that is super effective, which means you keep your ad spend really low and you have the system, the self-funded system that actually takes people from cold, gives them an experience, and then converts them into appointments on your calendar where you can then enroll them in your premium offers. And this is literally what saved my business. Like the playbook funnel alone has done nearly 6 figures since its inception, which is crazy. Just the book, just this digital product. Like if you had told me, in May 2024 that your book, this little book would have nearly done $100,000 in sales. You're like, excuse me? Are you serious? And so, yeah, that's the breakdown. And I'm actually going to be running a program on this. It's a 6-month coaching program where I'm going to basically install this process for you. the whole process, like if you follow the steps in our program, I've broken down every single step, like in granular detail with standard operating procedures, checklists, AI prompts, swipe files, templates. It's all there. It's literally copy paste your way to success. Just follow the prompts. The videos are about 5 to 6 minutes long because it's an implementation program. It's like, do the thing. It's not, here's the theory. It's like, no, do this now, click here now. And so, realistically, if you put your head down and you bum up, you get this done in 15 days. It's designed to be consumed in 15 days. And the reason why I can say that is I can whip these up in about 48 hours, right? So if I can do it in 48 hours and I've condensed everything step by step into templates and all that kind of stuff, you can do it in 15 days, right? But it's a 6-month program because, like I said, the most valuable asset is support and implementation. So what do you get in that 6 months? We'll have a weekly call. So you come, bring what you're working on. We'll tweak it. We'll make it work for you. Make sure that you're never stuck. You'll obviously get the full program, which breaks down every single step. We get all of my templates, all of my templates, all of my AI copywriting prompts, all of my ad structures, all of that. And then even more than that, you will also get a one-on-one call with me every month for 6 months. So we'll sit down, make sure you get that personalized support. Because here's the thing that I know about coaches, right? Is we tend to get in our own way. Let's be honest. Like what I've noticed is like when you go to ads, there's this feeling of being seen that can kind of make you slow down a little bit because the process is really simple. The thing gets in the way is us. And so what I've found is you actually need a little bit of coaching to help you move you through the overwhelm or the stuckness, etc. And I would say one of the things I was just working with a client that's doing done for you. She said to me was like, Caleb, your magic is in the ability to just make what is complex simple. You're bridging the gap between these marketers like Frank Kern and ClickFunnels and all of these website digital product things that I need to know how to do. You're making it simple for me to just now do it, to help focus on what needs to be done. And so this is the goal of the 6 months together is we'll install the system. You will get your own self-funded offer system that drives 3 to 5 leads per day and every month convert 1 to 2 of those into your high ticket offers. So if that sounds like you, there'll be a link in the description, which you can check out the Google Doc with all the details. We're going to be kicking off on November the 10th. And if you would like to book a call with me to talk about if it would be appropriate for your business, we can do that too. That link will be in the Google Doc, but I would love to see you there. And whether you join us or not, I hope this video was valuable because I know that, on the list of people that we have, some of the problems that you have is with lead gen. So what I'd highly recommend is you start looking at how do I acquire customers through paid advertising, especially if you're tired of dancing on social media. I trust this was valuable. See you in the next one.